What if I told you 2025 has the chance to change the trajectory of your life? Well, that looks to be the case for us here at the ranch. Welcome back to the Lost Cause Ranch. So 2025 is looking different around here. Throughout my life, I have been a pretty decisive guy with no issues making drastic changes. Spent my whole life doing that. But there's something different about this decision. This is the first one I'm not 100% sure about. But more on that in, let's say, 2 months. With the beginning of a new year, I always like to do a little inventory check, mainly because I happen to forget about a lot of stuff I actually have. So I always find it good to see what is laying around so I can kind of mentally prepare myself for what I need to do in the upcoming year. So today, we're going to bring you along to see what's around in my Land Rover mess. 2024 was a great year, and we finally got our little dream Land Rover shop at a position in the build where we can start enjoying it and using it to catch up on all our Land Rover projects. As you've been seeing, we're knocking out some stuff for the Rover Camper, mainly our 1-ton axle swap, along with tinkering. We'll call it tinkering on the LS3 Swap Defender. In 2024, we were able to start having a lot of fun, doing a little more traveling. Meeting some more of you guys, met some great new friends, and hope to meet many more in 2025. Speaking of Land Rover traveling,
some think you could have done better than me. Some think you can dethrone me. Prove it.
I think we got a fun one on the docket to start off the New Year's. But we have been spending the last few years compiling a lot of parts, a lot of vehicles, and we are now sitting in a pretty good spot with stuff collected and vehicles here. So we can start giving some new life to a lot of Lost Cause Land Rovers. And that is this year's main focus. We're gonna get a few of them back on the road. So let's see what we got laying. So we'll start off with a couple of them that are definitely going away this year. Hopefully sooner than later. And they will probably go away in pieces. We have a nice D2 Discovery with a blown head gasket. Shocking, I know. And even better than that, a super nice green bed liner paint job. Why do we even have this? Well, we are in the Rust Belt of Iowa, and we had this thing shipped up from Texas because the frame or chassis for you guys across the pond, it's freaking spotless. So we're gonna rip the body off that, take the parts we can use, and keep that frame handy for something else. In the meantime, it makes a pretty good storage container for the Defender. And then there's the P38, the much less known yellow car of the channel. I really do like this thing, but unfortunately, it's a P38, which comes with P38 problems, meaning we have a BECM issue and the thing doesn't want to start. I don't know how far I want to dig into that to put this back on the road, so this may get parted out as well. I need some P38 parts that aren't that GEMS 4.6. Let me know. It is freaking cool though, but I got cooler stuff laying around that should get addressed first. And on that front of cooler stuff laying around, this is possibly the coolest. This is the single most exciting project of 2025 for me. And if you've been following along the last couple videos, we are currently well underway on getting some big axles under this thing. It'll be on 37s. It'll be refreshed on the outside to get rid of that white door and bring it back to its former glory and color scheme that it originally started out with. Along with that, we're getting rid of the 70s interior and bringing it up maybe to like the 2000s, not even the 2020s. But we shall see. That is going to be a fun one. And if there is anything worth sticking around to see on the channel, make sure you guys subscribe to see this. Another one of my favorite Land Rovers. I'm gonna let you in on a secret. I think every Land Rover is my favorite Land Rover. But the Eco Challenge Discovery, this guy is freaking awesome, except for one thing. It's not exactly sounding any better down there. It's getting louder. I think we're gonna window the block pretty soon. Even though the Eco is gonna blow up, that is not necessarily a bad thing because we have this guy. That is an R380, and it is something you have to shift yourself. The possibilities. And the engine blowing up isn't a big deal because we have another yellow Land Rover with a 4.6 liter GEMS that we could swap in. I guess we also have that one too. And then there is the LR4s. The budget LR4 and good old Merlin, the free LR4, which I guess would make this even more budget than this. I paid $10,000 for this one. This one essentially free. Make it make sense. Let's start with the budget LR4. This is the workhorse. This guy gets the daily driver duties, does most of the hauling I need to do. Although the best Land Rover has taken some of those daily driver duties away. But this guy is currently outfitted pretty close to the way I like it. We have a set of 2.5-inch lift rods from Lucky 8, along with a set of 18-inch steel wheels, also from Lucky 8. 32-inch tires, a nice hidden winch that we built for up front. Keeps it looking mild, but that thing comes in handy all the frickin' time. We got solar on the roof rack. Then we also built our high clearance off-road hitch. We frickin' built that thing, and it didn't even fall off towing an entire other LR4 1,500 frickin' miles. So like I said, not much is going to happen to this guy. The only thing that's on the horizon is maybe a set of alloy wheels instead of the steel wheels, and maybe stepping up to a true 33-inch tire. We should also protect this area some. I get a little rowdy every now and then. Next up is our poor Kalahari. It looks in sad state right now, and we kind of picked it up in sad state. These things are just so neat, so we should get this guy back on the road. D2 problems, needs head gaskets. Shocker. Good news is, head gasket set in the back. Along with a bunch of other new Land Rover parts. That's right, another storage container. But these Kalaharis are kind of cool little pieces. They are a limited production run. Come with the cool little Saudi grill, a neat front bumper with these little cutouts, along with some rock sliders and a special interior, including a black headliner. This particular one we picked up from Ohio, which is also in the Rust Belt, and it has the rear frame section rusted out. You may be starting to infer as to why we picked up the green D2. And in the honorable non-Land Rover mention, we have the C10. The 944 Turbo is still around, along with the good old V10 Touareg. And then there is this. The last time you guys saw the old Hippo, it wasn't good. Poor little guy. So we need to dig into what is going on with what is quite possibly the best Land Rover on Earth. Are there any Land Rovers anywhere else? So last time we drove the little guy, we had what was essentially zero throttle response. Got her to the wood right now. And after a quick little dive into this guy, we pulled the intake tube off and actuating our electronic throttle pedal. Did nothing on this end. You could hear the motor trying to move the throttle blade, but it just didn't. So we need to figure out what exactly is going on the inside. Inside this guy as to why it's just not quite actuating. Currently, instead of all gas, no brakes, we're all brakes, no gas. But once we have that end of the Freelander sorted out, we have this box full of goodies. And you guys are going to get to see the inner workings of that 2.5 liter V6. That is inherently kind of a junk engine, but we're going to go ahead and freshen it up and see if we can permanently make it quiet. There's usually something knocking at the door under the hood of that guy. And then, finally, there is this guy. A lot of you probably forgot that we even have this. Heck, even I forget from time to time because, as you see, currently it's just tucked away in one of Ted's garages, waiting for me to stop procrastinating. But no, I think this year is the year G4 will finally be back on the road. The frickin' thing has no miles. It's time for us to put some on. That, and it'd be awful nice to get this mess cleaned out as well. Right here is currently the only place that Ted and I have stuff stuffed outside of either the ranch or his house. It'll be awful nice to just have stuff at Ted's house and my place, wherever that place may be. With all that being said, I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate you subscribing. And down below, let me know what you guys have planned for 2025. My most favorite thing about the YouTube channel, even more than the Land Rovers themselves, is talking with you guys. You guys make it a frickin' blast. We will catch you on the next one. It'll be Land Rovers. It'll be shop stuff. And in a couple months, a big frickin' surprise. Man, I always forget how much frickin' stuff is in this little storage unit. We got the top for the Defender. Right here is 2 complete interiors for Discovery 2s. We also got some fresh powder coated bumpers for that G4. Storage units are like frickin' black holes. Stay away from them. This one is a unit behind our old shop. We used to have 3 of these. We're down to 1. The reason why I say they're black holes is I've probably paid $3,000 to store those Discovery interiors over the last couple years, which is probably well beyond what the interiors are worth. One is a G4 84 interior, so that would be hard to replace. That is the reason why I'm fine with spending money every month on it. But do as I say, not as I do. Just don't do it. Get rid of the stuff and don't let it weigh you down.